Welcome to my workshop. My name is Tomasz and you're watching Casual DIY channel. In today's video, I'm going to be transforming these pine boards into a stool that you can use in your garden with a bit of storage as well. So let's crack on with it. The first job is to glue up some panels out of which we'll be cutting out all the parts that we need for this project. Now I'm using pine boards that I need to glue up. However, you can use plywood. I would recommend the minimum of 80mm in thickness for this project, and you can basically ditch this part of the build. However, I've got pine boards and I need to join them. If in your project you're going to be joining boards as well to create larger panels, you can go in many ways. You can use pocket holes, you can use dowels, biscuits, anything you've got. Me, I'm just going with wood glue, as I know this will be plenty strong for this particular project. And you know what? I do weigh a lot and the stool is for me. So I'm putting all the confidence in the strength of the glue. And I'm pretty certain I'll be just fine. In total, I'm going to be gluing 4 panels, out of which I'll cut out all the parts for this build. Right then, so the glue has dried. I'm going to take the panels out of the clamps, as you can see, and I'm going to do some light cleanup, light sanding, right up to 120. So more or less the whole project is pre-sanded and ready for me to start cutting out the correct shapes and sizes. Now using my miter, so I'm going to cut the panels to the correct length, and after that I'm going to move on to my table saw to cut them to the correct width. With all the parts cut to the right sizes, now we're going to tackle the legs of this stool. Basically, I'm going to draw a triangle that we will cut out from it. You know, I think it will add an interesting look to it, and it will create some really cool legs for this little stool. In my case, to cut it out, I'm going to be using my bandsaw. However, you know, you can actually cut it out with a jigsaw. And to be fair, you can tackle the whole project with a jigsaw, so it's a fairly easy one to do if you don't have too many tools. Now with the marks done, I'm just going to use some double-sided tape, glue both of the parts together so I can cut out the shape on my bandsaw on both pieces at the same time. Right then, next step, I'm heading to my pillar drill. I'm going to cut out 2 holes with my Forstner bit. It's 30mm. Basically, I'll be able to connect both of these holes later on with my jigsaw to cut out a slot for my hand, so I can use it as a handle to carry the stool, but you'll see that a bit later on. However, if you don't have a pillar drill, don't worry, you can just use a normal drill with a big enough drill bit, so it will make a hole that will accommodate a blade from a jigsaw, and just cut out the hole that way. Alright, and we are still with this seat, and I'm just going to use a tin of spray paint to mark off a radius. I'm going to cut off the corners of this seat. Okay, so it will give it that a little bit nicer look to the whole design. And as you can see, I'm just cutting it out on my bandsaw. However, you can just use the jigsaw to do exactly the same thing. And now we're just going to clean everything up, do a bit of sanding, and we can put the whole thing together. And as you can see, I'm just using my sander to give the corners a nice look. And again, if you don't have the tool, just use a piece of sandpaper and you can do it by hand quite easily. It will just take you a little bit longer. Now using my router table, I've installed a round over bit, just a small round over to ease all the edges on the seat of our stool, and also the handle inside of the top as well. But quite easily you can do exactly the same thing with a bit of sandpaper going around all the edges of this project. Okay, so all the pieces for the stool are more or less ready, we just need to assemble them. However, I want to give a bit of a personal approach to this project, and I want to engrave something really cool on the top of the seat. And for that, I'm going to be using my laser. So I'm going to whack it in, engrave the design, and you'll see how it looks in just a few moments. Right then, so as you can see, that's our sides, this is our bottom, okay, and these are the fronts and the back, okay. And the method to join everything together, I'm going to be using my jig, katsu jig, and create some pocket holes. Obviously I'm going to use some glue as well, just to give that added strength to the thing. We're going to put this together now as the top is being engraved, so yeah, let's crack on with it. There we go, just need to clean them up a little bit, and that's our first 3 pocket holes done. I'm just going to continue with the rest. Obviously, if you don't have a pocket hole jig, don't worry, glue on its own will be plenty strong, but however, if you're not too bothered about the looks, you can just use some screws and screw the whole thing together with no problems at all. I've got a pocket hole jig, so hey, I'm going to use it. And just carry around until all the sides are connected. And there you go guys, that's more or less the shape and how the whole stool looks like, still without the top, that's still being engraved. Now I'm just going to apply some finish onto it, protect it from the outer elements if you wish. I'm going to be using Osmo oil, however you can use whatever finish you've got in your workshop, it really doesn't matter. You can actually even paint this to give it a nice and unique look. Okay, now it's time for the seat. Check this out, straight out of the oven. Tell you what, I really do like my laser. Look at that, that came out absolutely fantastically. To be fair, there is a little bit of a boo-boo here on this side, more or less in this part of the design. I've knocked my bench with the laser a bit, and it just went out of whack a little bit, so I had to stop it and redo it, so my fault. But to be fair, you can't really see it that much, but if you pay attention to it, you do see a bit of a, you know, ghosting there. But all in all, I think, you know, it came out really, really cool. So let's put some oil on this. Right then, next we're gonna install some hinges at the back and a locking mechanism from the front. Make sure you do all your measurements of the base correctly, so everything's nice and in the correct place. Okay, check this out. I think it came out absolutely fantastic. Now this will be ever so helpful in my garden. It's exactly what I needed. A nice, comfortable stool to work in my garden, plus some onboard storage. Okay, let's do the weight test. Let's have a look if it will hold my weight. And as you can see, no issues at all. If it can handle me, I'm pretty certain it will last a long time. Right then, let's pack a few things and head out to my garden. Perfect. I have to say the project came out absolutely superb. I really do like the engraving on the top. It gives that, you know, a special and unique feel to the piece itself. Obviously, you know, you can pass on that. However, if I piqued your interest in making stuff by yourself or even actually laser engraving, anything like that, I've got a few videos for you. The links should be just over here, a few playlists. You can check out my other projects and maybe the laser as well. So go and have a look at them now. You can check those out. Quite interesting videos there. Also, I've got some links down below in the description of this video as well. So click on those links and I'll see you there.